Hello world, my name is Mike Martin and I am studying JavaScript using the book Sam's Teach Yourself JavaScript in 24 Hours, the 7th edition by Phil Ballard. That's the book. The chapter that we are currently on is DOM objects and built-in objects. The first thing that we learn about in DOM objects and built-in objects is interacting with the user, and we learn three simple functions: alert, confirm, and prompt. First function, alert, creates a pop-up that has a message and an OK button. You click the OK button, the message disappears, and the script starts to execute again. So we could send our message, hello world. The next method is the confirm method, and that creates a pop-up that has a message with two buttons, OK and cancel. If I clicked OK, I would send a true. If I click cancel, I would send a false. So I could say the message should be, are you 18? I click OK, and that would be true. Am I over 18? Cancel would be false if I were only 17. Then there's the prompt method that creates a pop-up that has a message and a text box. So the message could be, hello, is your name Mike? What is your name? I could type Mike Merton. Click OK, and it would send a string to the script that could be stored in a variable. It would store the string Mike Merton. I could click cancel, that would send a null, or I could type nothing and click OK, that would also send a null. Selecting elements by their ID is a very important topic in JavaScript. It allows us to interact with the HTML elements on the page. The main method to do that is getElementById. When we call document.getElementById, give it an ID, it exposes properties such as inner HTML. So this call declares a variable var myvar is equal to document.getElementById div1.innerHTML. So it sets the variable myvar to the inner HTML of the div1. I could also change the value of the property in div1 of the inner HTML by saying document.getElementById div1.innerHTML is equal to some inner HTML, to some HTML such as paragraph, some string, end paragraph. So the original HTML could look like this: just basic HTML page, HTML tags, header tags, body tags, and then a div tag with an ID of div1, and then inside it has a paragraph that has the text original string. Then after I run this piece of code, the HTML will look like this. Same HTML tags, header tags, and body tags, and the div tag and div1, but the inner HTML of div1 will be a paragraph that has some string instead of original string. So some string instead of original string. Accessing browser history through the history object exposes one property, and that is the length property. The length property is not a method, so those parentheses should not be there. The length property exposes a number of pages that have been visited by the browser in a session. So I can use methods such as history.forward to go forward one in that index length property, history.back to go back in the history, or history.go to go to a specific page in the history. So for instance, if I had 6 pages, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I typed history.go -3. I'm on the page with the star. I go back -1, -2, -3, and I end up on this page, or the third page of the 6 pages. Using the location object. The location object is provided by the DOM. It has the property href, which is the whole URL. It has the property protocol, which is just the protocol being used, in this case HTTP. It has the .host property, which is just the name of the host, the full name of the host. The host name, which it would just be the example.com or the name registered with the DNS. The .port, which is the port that is serving the page, which is 8080. Path name, which would be the appended route within the domain. In this case, it would be page.html. And search and hash properties are other strings that could be appended to the URL. The search would have a question mark and a query. The hash would be a hashed value such as a token. Then there's navigating using the location object. Location.href property can be changed using location.href. Set it to a new URL, www.newpage.com, and it will go to that page. Same with location.replace. Set it to a new URL, and it will go to that page. The difference being that when you use .href, it adds the new page to the history, whereas replace adds the new page to the history but replaces the last page that you were navigating from in the history. Location.reload just reloads the page. Obtaining browser information using the navigator object. The navigator object is antiquated, so I wasn't really going to talk much about it. What I will say is that there are properties of the navigator object that if you go navigator.appName, it'll give you the name of the browser. App code name will give you the code name. App version will give you the version of the browser, language, the language that's being used, whether it's cookie enabled, CPU class will give you the CPU class. Online will tell you if the browser is online. Platform will tell you the platform the browser is running on, and the number of plugins will give you an integer of the number of plugins that the browser has. Using dates and times, critical in programming with JavaScript. The date object is not established. You have to use the constructor of the date object to get a date object. So var myDate, the var should be lowercase, is equal to new date, is calling the date constructor. That stores a new date, the current time and date, in the myDate variable. Then I can call methods on that object. myDate.getDate will give me the full date. .getFullYear will give me the full year. .getMonth will give me the month. Will give me an integer between 0 and 11. 0 being January, 11 being December. GetDay will give me a number between 0 and 31. GetHours will give me a number between 0 and 23. GetMinutes, a number between 0 and 59. GetSeconds, a number between 0 and 59. Creating a date object with a given date and time is simple. We declare a variable myDate and call the constructor new date. We give it a year, a month. This should be day, not date. We give it a year, month, day, hour, minute, second, and millisecond. And it creates a date object with the value of the date that we passed in. And then we can run arithmetic on it and it will calculate new dates. Simplifying calculation with the math object. The math object contains a lot of functions. We'll go over a few here. Math.ceil is math short for ceiling. We pass the number 1.3 and it gives us the value of 2 because it rounds up to the closest integer. Math.floor, we give it 1.3 and it rounds down to the closest integer. Math.max will give us the max of the numbers passed in, so math.max of 1, 2, 3, 4 will give us 4. Math.min of 1, 2, 3, 4 will give us 1. Math.round of 1.23 will round to 1. If we gave it 1.5, it would round to 2 because it rounds the decimal to up if it's above 0.5 and down if it's below 0.5. And if it's equal to 0.5, it rounds up. .random will give us a number between 0 and 1. The math object also has constants, such as the natural number, the natural log of 2, the natural log of 10, log base 2 of the natural number, pi, the square root of 1 over the square root of 2, and the square root of 2. Then there's the with keyword. If we had a lot of variables to declare and we had to use a lot of the math methods, we wouldn't want to write math every time. So in the block of code that we're going to declare a lot of variables with methods, then we would say with math in parentheses, left bracket, right bracket, and we would make our declarations of our variables. myRand, biggest, height. myRand is equal to random instead of math.random. Biggest is equal to max instead of math.max. Height is equal to round instead of math.round. It just saves us some time typing. So that's really it for this chapter on DOM objects and built-in objects. My name is Mike Merton. This is our friendly helper Merlin, and we hope to see you again. Thanks.